Hi Aries, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot, and my name's Carol, and I'm going to be doing your reading for you for February 2024, and this will be for the first half of February. So in your reading today, there's going to be three parts, and in the first part I'm going to look at your energy. I want to know what's your situation. I want to know if you're if you're struggling with something, if you're looking for some direction in your life. And then what I want to do in the second part is I want to look at your shadow. Now, if that term is sort of unfamiliar to you, we're going to be doing some shadow work. So again, if that is unfamiliar to you, or if you want to know a little bit more about it, I've made this video for you right here. And it's called My Powerful 4-Step Guide for Shadow Work. And that comes from my other channel called Carol Cares. And in this video, I talk about how to do shadow work, what it is. I suggest a lot of videos for you that I also have on that channel, Carol Cares. I show you about journaling. I talk to you about emotional journaling and how to ground yourself. And so shadow work is really just getting on that train and deciding that you're going to heal a lot of your stuff and a lot of your childhood, your adolescence. And so a lot of times our shadow, sitting in our shadow, are things that people told us when we were younger. Things like, that would have shamed us, told us we were bad. And so those are things that we kind of shoved away, the parts of ourselves that we don't like, and we just really put this mask on and we don't let anybody know what we're really like, and we hide those things about ourselves. And a lot of times we don't even know what's in our shadow that sits in our unconscious. And sometimes there are gifts in there as well. All of us have gifts, all of us have talents, and when we were younger, sometimes they were shut down or discouraged. And again, that's something we would have pushed down and put away in our shadow. So I'm going to look at your shadow and what's coming up and what's sitting in your shadow that is related to the situation you're in right now. And then finally, the third part is going to be guidance from the tarot and try to lead you in a direction that you need to go in order to heal that part of your shadow. And I'll also recommend some videos for you at the end from Carol Cares, my other channel, that I think will help you quite a bit if you want a little bit of extra help. And then I'm going to pull an oracle card for you. So we're going to start off with the Light Seer's Tarot. I'm going to pull three main cards for the three areas. I'm going to clarify that with Rider-Waite, and then I'm going to pull an oracle card from the Sacred Creators Oracle and read the little blurb from the book. But Aries, before we begin, I did a yearly reading for you for 2024. It's right here. And in that reading, Aries, I gave you 12 cards to represent the 12 months of the year. And I talked about each one. I mean, obviously, it was one card per month, so it was in a general way. And then, so what we're going to do today is I pulled the card. And for February, you had the Hermit card. And so that card, the Hermit, tells me that this month for you is going to be a month where you've taken some time to yourself to go inwards. You've taken some time to get back into your body and just start to feel and maybe do some healing. And we go through periods of that. When we're on our healing journey, we go through periods of that where we need to almost isolate ourselves from other people, from the world, because we have some healing to do. I know for myself, COVID was a huge year for me where I was alone most of COVID, and grateful for it because I really did a lot of healing that I needed to do. And so, when we choose to isolate for healing, it is a very good thing, right? Because you see this lantern right here, it's shining a light on our shadow. It's shining a light on things that need to come up for us to heal. And so we're going to keep that in mind for this. Is kind of like the overriding theme here is the Hermit card for this reading for you. So let's take the Light Seer's deck, and I want to ask the tarot now to give me 3 cards, and I don't want to take any more, just one per area, one per section. And let's see what comes out for. So one card, please, for where Aries is sitting right now. Where Aries is sitting. Where Aries is sitting, situation they're in. You have the Death card in reverse. The Death, and they call this, in this deck, it's called the Death and Rebirth. Okay, so we're just going to put that over there. Sounds good. Now what card is, I would like a card for the Shadow. One card, please, for Shadow. One card for the Shadow. And this card flipped up. So we're going to take the Knight of Swords here for your Shadow. And one card for guidance from the Tarot. One card for guidance from the Tarot. And this one flipped out, the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords. Okay, let's clarify these three. 3 cards, please, for the Death card. 3 cards to clarify. Oh, I'm just going to give these a shuffle before I begin. I did before, but I do like to shuffle them right before I... Those 2 popped out, the Knight of Pentacles and the 4 of Cups. All right, we'll see if those come back in. Okay, so 3 cards, please, for the Death card. Okay, we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. Another one here that's flipped up is the Two of Cups. And one more, please. The Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles. All right, so these 3 go with the Death card here. Now, Knight of Swords, please. A clarification. Clarification, 3 cards for the Knight of Swords. 3 cards for the Knight of Swords for Aries. And you have the Ace of Wands in reverse. 2 more, please. 2 more for clarification for the Knight of Swords. Woo, we got a lot here. So you have the Strength card in reverse. And the Hierophant in reverse. And the 10 of Pentacles. All right, 7 of Swords. 3 cards for clarification, please. Oh, you got 3 cards here. So you have the 4 of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands in reverse, and the King of Cups in reverse. All right, so let's take a look at these. So overriding, you have our Hermit for February. And the first card, so where are you sitting right now, Aries? You are sitting with the Death card, which is very interesting. Saying that this is a month where you're taking time to go inwards. And, you know, when you start to go inwards, you do, you know, you work on yourself. You do a lot of thinking. You do, and sometimes what happens is when we're on this journey and we do a lot of isolation and a lot of work on ourselves, and sometimes there are people around us that we find for particular reasons no longer kind of vibe with us anymore. And that a lot of that can do with too where you are, Aries. Like sometimes when you start changing, you know, you're not vibing with people around you, and you find that on this journey that you lose some people and things just fall away. People fall away. Certain things you've done that you're used to doing, you don't do anymore. Certain things you've been interested in, you don't do anymore. And so, and sometimes that could bring, you know, a lot of loss to us, and sometimes grieving when we have to lose some people or walk away from people. And that is part of the healing journey. And I remember when I first got into some real intensive healing 7 years ago from my own complex trauma, one of the things that my own life coach told me at the beginning, when I noticed this starting to happen, was she said to me that you're going to lose some people on this journey. And I'm like, ooh. You know, there was a part of me that thought, well, I don't really know if I want to continue this journey. But then I also knew that there were some people in my life that needed to leave, and I knew that. But I had a hard time letting them go. And so I'm saying here that maybe you are in a position right now. Well, it's in reverse. So I'm wondering if there are people that you need to let go, situations that need to change. And there's sort of a resistance to doing that. And that's difficult, to letting people go. Because I'm seeing here that there's a part of you that wants to take your life in a new direction with this Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is in reverse. And the Eight of Wands is that card where you want to find your purpose. You want to use your intuition, which I see that you're going inwards this month. And you take the Eight of Wands, the creative wands, and just throw them up in the air, and you see like where they're going to land, and trust that the universe is going to bring you where you need to go. And it's in reverse, so there's a resistance to taking your life in that direction you want it to take, and that could be because there are certain people that you need to let go. And I'm a firm believer that when you let people go that need to go from your life, or you let things go that need to go, new things will come in. In the Two of Cups here, this is an interesting card. A lot of people like to say, compare this to the Lover's card and say this is, a relationship coming in for you. And for me, there is this caduceus here, which in this wing line, and the caduceus is a healing symbol. And so what's happening is I look at this card as the relationship, not with another person, but with yourself. And so because you are in a position where you are healing, and the relationship that you have with yourself is deepening. And that is the relationship that, on this journey, you come to find that the most important relationship that you have on this journey is the one that you have with yourself. And this is where you get in touch with the unconscious part of you and the conscious part of you, and you unite both of those together. And so I'm seeing here that there's a deepening of the relationship that you have with yourself that's coming through here right now. And you're finding that the Six of Pentacles is here. And the Six of Pentacles speaks of an exchange between two people. So the sixes always have a duality in this deck. And in this particular case, it's the giving and taking. And this card speaks of self-worth, in that these beggars right here, whatever they feel that they are worth, this person right here, this individual is going to weigh that out. It's going to balance it out, weigh it out for them. And so if this individual says, well, I'm worth 3 coins, and he's going to weigh out the 3 coins and give him 3 coins. Had he said 100 coins, he would have got 100 coins. And that's in reverse. So what I'm seeing here is there is a need for you in the situation that you're at, because you realize that you need to, there's some situations or people that you need to walk away from. but you're having a difficult time because you're not feeling the worthiness and almost like the strength to be able to do that. Because a lot of times when we do feel that we do put ourselves first, then we know that we need to do that for ourselves. And I'm seeing that, there is a strengthening in the relationship that you have with yourself with the Two of Cups. But once that becomes stronger, you will be able to walk away from the people or the situations that you are. So that's a situation you're sitting in right now where you need to walk away, but there's a resistance to doing it because you need to put yourself first in order to be able to do that. And so what's coming up in your shadow for you? Well, the Knight of Swords is the overriding card here. And the Knight of Swords is, for me, the Knight is all about freedom. And so this is a sword. And a sword is, if you look at this card, he's running to his motorcycle. He just wants to take off in that motorcycle. And I see that there's a part of you, what's sitting in your shadow is that there's a part of you that wants to be free. And this is a sword. Wants to be free, wants to be authentic, wants to find out who they really are. And so on one hand you have this, it sounds like you're kind of in a situation right now where you need to let go of certain people. You know that it's time, you're starting to think about putting yourself first, and you're just wanting, there's a real call here to be free to do what you want to do. And what's coming up for you right now is the Ace of Wands in reverse for the first card in your shadow. And the Ace of Wands is, all my aces are an offer from the universe. And it says, here's this, the wand is the suit where we want to be free. We want to be authentic. We want to find our purpose. And so there is a real call for you, and that's probably coming from the fact that you've spent some time with yourself, isolated. There's a real call here for you to be free and do what you want to do. And the Strength card comes in reverse here. And the Strength card is that card in an upright position, is where we decide to open up that Pandora's box and start to feel those emotions that we need to feel that are buried in our shadow, which is coming up here. But there is a resistance to doing that. You have this Ace of Wands on offer to go a certain direction. There's this real freedom that's wanting to come out. You want to be free to find out who you are. But there's a resistance to feeling your emotions, to opening up this shadow part of you, opening up that Pandora's box. Because for whatever reason, the Hierophant here is blocking it because it's in reverse, it's blocked. The Hierophant is all about obedience, where we learned obedience from school, from our parents, from institutions. So, it could be parents, from school, from, if you belong to a religion, if you followed a certain religion or faith. And for some reason, there is something to do with, right or wrong. This is just not what I'm supposed to be doing. And that is what's blocking you from finding your authenticity, taking your life in a new direction, doing what you want to do. And I see that it's kind of this number 10 Pentacles comes right behind the Hierophant, which is very, very powerful, because the number 10 in the upright position looks like it's a generational card. You could kind of take this as, here's an older, the grandfather, the children, and then you've got the young grandchild right here that's really hanging on to a parent, and it doesn't really look like they're communicating so much, and it looks like sometimes it looks like a picture perfect family here, family card, but there is this Kabbalistic tree here, tree of life, that's drawn with the pentacles. And that's what's very significant, because that tree of life, it kind of is a symbol for all those things that we just can't explain, you know, all those kind of like those magical things. This grandfather here is sitting here with this magical coat. You have a magical wand here that's sitting against it. No one's holding it here. No one sees it. No one recognizes it. So there's like, for me, this says, I mean, this could be generational for you, but maybe there's something that you want to do that's just not accepted in you know, family that you're in. It's never been accepted. It's just something that's not ever been thought of or been done in your family. And that could be that, because it is in reverse here, and the Hierophant card has come up also. So, you know, there's something that you want to do. And it sounds like it's being blocked by, you know, something that you've been taught that you're not supposed to do, not allowed to do, or even, you know, in generations in your family that it was just not something that was done. But the Kabbalistic tree of life in the Ten of Pentacles says, you know, there's so much out there that you're unaware of. And on this journey, it's always 20/20 hindsight, if you only knew by looking back. But we have to trust a lot of the times to go forward. And this card sometimes says that you have to trust to go forward, because there is something magical out there for you. But it's a lot. It takes that strength, right? That's in reverse right here. It takes that to open up your emotions, your feelings, and what's driving you to make this change in your life, I think. To do what you want to do here. But you have some blocks here that are set up, and it's very interesting, you know, with that whole thing of you sitting there thinking there's something you need to walk away from. And sometimes, you know, it could be, it's a pentacle here, and this could be like a job that's been, this is interesting, this just came up, a job that's been handed to you, generational, it's been, you know, handed down to you, and maybe you're sitting in it and you're thinking, I want freedom from it, I want to leave, it's not what I want to do. And even something like that, where you've gone in, you've decided to, you know, take some time to yourself, isolate a little bit, and realize, you know, this is not what I want to do in life. This job has been handed down to me, but I'm not sure I want to do this. And so to turn to your family and say, well, this is something that's been, everybody's done it from generation to generation, and you're sitting here going, well, that's not what I want to do. So that can come in with this Pentacles too. That's a situation for sure. But there's definitely a sense of obedience here that is blocking you from taking the next step and walking away from people or things in your life that you don't want anymore. Definitely this is what I'm feeling. And so the guidance here says, it's very interesting. You have the Seven of Swords, and if you look at this individual here, it's like he's stolen something in the middle of the night. It's called the Thief card. And, you know, swords is all about mental energy. It's all about belief systems. It's all about conditionings and patternings, you know. And this sword here, or this crow here, is just squawking. And crows to me are big messengers. Like, you know, there's a call here. And to me, when I hear a crow, when it's kind of a random kind of a crow, a lot of cackling going on, and I know that there's kind of a message here. And I think the message for you here with the Seven of Swords is that you have run away with some belief systems that were given to you when you were younger. And this kind of fits in with the Hierophant card, where when we're younger, we adopt, we inherit our parents and our culture viewpoints, and what's right, what's wrong, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And I feel like this is a real struggle with you right now. And so the tarot wants you to look at What are these belief systems that you've stolen from parents or your culture, or maybe it's the Hierophant card here, maybe your religion, that is not allowing you to do what you want to do? And that's what the tarot is wanting you to look at, because you really, it gets to a certain point in your life where you say, okay, these are the belief systems that I was raised with and I've adopted, and I'm leading my life with it, and they direct my life. But at a certain point, I mean, you start to, you know, here's the Hermit card here, you start to go inwards and you start to think, well, are those mine? Is that what I would believe? And you start to question that. And I see a real, the 4 here, the 4 of Pentacles comes in, which is the Miser card, right? He's really attached to his pentacles. He's holding on to these pentacles. And if you look at the position of the pentacles, they're sort of, you know, one's on his head, his throat, and his heart, and his feet, his chakras. He's not letting them go. He's very, very attached to holding on to, almost, well, in fear, right? There's a lot of times we hold on to these belief systems that we've had for years, that we've inherited out of fear. What would happen if we let these belief systems go? And I'm wondering if this is what needs to die here at the beginning. You know what? Maybe these belief systems are what, this is interesting. Maybe these belief systems that you have, that you've inherited here with the Hierophant, generational card here going on, that's been handed down in your family, and you're holding on to them out of fear. Because what happens if you let them go? Then what? Then what do you believe in, right? Where do you get that? Well, you have yourself, right? And because what comes up for these last 2 cards, the 6 of Wands here, which is in reverse, and the 6 is a duality card. And it looks like on one hand that, you know, he looks like he is coming home from victory. This is a victory card. He has the victory wreath up here. He's marching. It's, you know, it's a march, a victory march. But the duality of the 6s is that, sure, you have victory here, but you know that in a battle there's always the loser. And there is a real denial for you, Aries, that there is something been lost here. If you pull away this green blanket, the opposite of the victory, that you see in this card is a loss. And so there's been a real loss here, I think. And I think you need to look at that. And so the tarot was asking you to look at, what have you lost here? What belief systems have you hung on to all your life that were handed down to you? And you're pretty attached to them, and you're holding on to them, and you're having a hard time letting them go. And there's some loss here. What have you lost because of these belief systems? And it's like you're realizing this, that there is something you have lost, and because of the fact that these belief systems have led your life in a certain direction. And so the King of Cups comes in here, and the King is a part of us. It's the masculine part of us. It's the masculine part of us, and everybody has a feminine part and a masculine part, whether you're female or male, it doesn't matter. Gender does not matter here. And the masculine part that you have is ungrounded. It's in reverse. And this masculine upright would be very much someone that is in touch with their emotions, their desires, their wishes, because that's what the cup represents. But this is in reverse. And so that tells me that there's a part of you, your masculine side of you, that sort of, well, that is in denial, that there needs to be some mourning here for the loss, that needs to recognize that, yes, there are some losses here, and you need to grieve. You need to grieve how you've lived your life because of you know, these belief systems that were handed down to you. And it's time now that you start to really question these belief systems and really grieve as to, this is how I've lived my life because of these belief systems that someone handed down to me. And they're not mine. And I think this is what you're realizing in this reading, that they're no longer yours. And so it is calling on you to really get in touch with, you know, your own belief systems. And because you're ungrounded here, I think you need to do some grounding and get back into your body again and start to feel some of your emotions. And so I think what I'm going to suggest for you is to, I'm going to give you a video on maybe processing your emotions, because when they do come up, what do you do with them, right? What do you do with some of these emotions that are coming up here? And it looks like because you're in a position where you are doing a lot of introspection, you're going to have emotions that are going to be coming up, and especially having to do with, you know, this situation that you're finding yourself in right now. So let's take this. I hope that helped. It was a bit, I got through it, I feel, finally figured out, you know, what was going on here with the death and rebirth. And I know I mentioned that with you about how this sounds like you're in a real struggle with some of the belief systems that you've had, that, like I said, that you've inherited. And, you know, and I think there's some grieving that maybe needs to be done. Emotions need to be felt. And you're starting to realize that, you know what about what I feel? Not about what, you know, my parents felt, or what the culture was that I belonged to felt, or people I was raised with felt. What about me? It's time to put yourself first. So let me leave you with a oracle card right now, and then I'll do a little reading on it. Okay, the card that came out for you is Find Your Sacred Flow. Number 12. Number 12. Find your sacred flow. Your sacred flow. Each one of those words is powerful medicine for your creator spirit. Tune into your own rhythm and actively schedule your own unique sacred flow into your life every day. This may mean stopping to nap, exercise, or meditate during the day if that's what makes your heart sing. It may mean scheduling something sacred into your planner, something epic. What makes you feel alive and in flow with the world? Are you leaving time for that thing? If something is encroaching on your flow time, you may need to set clear boundaries and prioritize this sacred break. Be sure you aren't giving up your personal space so that someone else can benefit. If you are feeling pressure to make an important decision, right now is not the time to give an answer you aren't completely sure of. Go with the flow of not knowing. Sleep on it. Surrender to not having all of the answers, and know that everything will be revealed when you gift yourself the space of distance, stillness, and perspective. Wow. I feel that that's what you're doing with this Hermit card, is giving yourself the distance this month of stillness, of distance. And we talked about, you know, the distance here with this Death card. You know, maybe you have a decision to make. Maybe there's something you need to let go of. Maybe you're starting to question some of your belief systems. But, you know, it says, you know, don't take time. Nothing has to be. Sometimes we make, you know, the wrong decisions when we don't really use our intuition well. So I think we need to really take this month and just start to get back into your body. Start to process some of the emotions that are coming out. Just get a real good feel of what's going on inside of you, and what you believe, and what your belief systems are, and what you need to do. And the answer will come to you. So good luck, Aries, and I'll see you in the middle of the month. Take care. Bye-bye.